Hi, my name is Ovi. This is my wife, Claudia. And we've been going to Grace now for 6 years. We decided to go to Grace actually when we had our first daughter. She was just about 5 months old, and Claudia and I decided that we wanted her to grow up in a godly church. And first time we came to Grace, we just knew that this was the place we wanted to raise our family.
I remember looking at Isabel, and she's so little, and I had nothing to offer her spiritually. We grew up in a Christian home and all that, but I didn't know how to pour into her. I had nothing spiritually. I didn't have a relationship with God. And so the first thing I looked for when we came here was, is there a women's group, and is there going to be childcare? Can someone watch my baby while I'm growing and learning? And I had so much desire. I wanted to grow. I wanted to learn. But I think God just orchestrated mentors and people that poured into us for a season of time of a few years. And I learned how to study my Bible, how to pray for others. That was huge.
That was one of the things in this church that had the biggest impact, was these small groups and how they built a family out of these small groups. And through them, like my wife said, we learned how to pray for others. We were discipled. We learned. And in turn, we were able to lead and start our own small group and able to pour out to other people the things that were poured into us. So if anyone ever asked us about Grace and what is the thing that really impacted us about this church, we always point to the small groups. I always point to the desire that this church has to pour into other people, and for other people, all members in this church, to be able to pour into others and to help the community. There's constantly new people coming in. And if you talk to the new people that come in, you hear that they were just driving down the freeway and something just told them to stop in to Grace and see what is going on in there. And just the way we said, it was just, you knew that this was the church that God wanted you to be in. And you also see a church that is not willing to budge on biblical beliefs, a church that is willing to speak the truth, unafraid, and a church that desires to spread the gospel and to spread out into the community, not just to be inside of a building. Pastor Riggle has always been big on reaching out to communities in different spheres, in different areas of the community. It's kind of like a tidal wave. It starts off small, but it's only going to grow bigger and bigger. And as we've been here for 6 years now, we've seen this church grow faster and faster. One of the things that we saw grow was Wednesday night prayer nights. And as you come, you'll see yourselves that there's going to be nights when there's barely any room. I see the need, and I know other people, other members of the church see the need, and I'm excited to see what's going to come next. What's the big wave and big change that's going to come out of truthfully walking out in faith, believing that God is going to fill the church and fill those seats. So another thing about me and my wife is that we're actually from Romania. I was born in Romania. My wife was born here in the States, but our parents grew up in Romania. At the time they were growing up, it was still under communism. And as believers in Romania, they were not allowed to worship the way that they wanted to worship. They were not allowed to preach the gospel. They were not allowed to further gospel in their communities. They were only allowed to be in their own church and do it quietly. But once communism failed, they came to the States, and they were able in America to worship God the way that the Bible teaches us to worship God. They were able to further God's kingdom the way we were called to further God's kingdom. But as time progressed here in the States, they even brought it to us saying, we're seeing things here happening that we saw in Romania, and people are not even realizing it. Under communism, they actually had to hide away their prayer nights. They were not allowed to gather. They were not allowed to pray. But here at Grace, we will not hide our prayer nights. Here at Grace and through Cornerstone, we will be a building on 45 that will shine a light and people will know that there is prayer happening in this church. They'll know that there is a place where they can go if they are in need. They will know that there is a place that they can go to if they are hurting, and that they will receive Christ, and they will not have to hide from anyone. And that's what I believe Cornerstone is a place that people can see, that people will know that there's a healing there, there's deliverance there, there's freedom there. And that's what we want Cornerstone and Grace Church to be.
We're so excited that our generation can be a part of this, and that Grace will be that church, that city on a hill, the light in the darkness. And we hope that every family here at Grace will join us on this Cornerstone campaign and give sacrificially.